Hello, 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 and welcome to Back to Basics. I'm Rico Burton, and I am your host today. AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence, AARP strengthens communities and advocates for what matters most to the more than 100 million Americans 50 plus and their families. This includes health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. AARP also produces the nation's largest circulation publications, AARP the Magazine and AARP Bulletin. This month, as we get ready to close things out, we have been helping you navigate the complicated healthcare system. Caregivers are frequently frustrated by their healthcare system, from Medicare insurance and care coordination to inadequate healthcare staffing and medication management. We know helping your loved one navigate their medical needs is hard, and AARP is your wise friend and is here to support and guide you. AARP can help you with resources, expert content, and tools. Visit us at the URL that you will see streaming along the bottom of the screen. Today, we are here with Coach SheriAnne, and we will be talking about how to end the year 2023 strong. Hello, Coach.
Hey, Lady B, how are you?
I won't complain. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm I'm doing great. It's just surprises me that we're already December 12th. And so I'm just like, wow, this year did fly by. And if you are joining us, please let us know where you're tuning in from. I always love to see where people are coming in from. And if you have anything to add or questions, please be sure to share them in the comments and we'll get to them during the show if we can. And if not, I always circle back around and answer any questions or comments in the comment section. So thank you for being here. So a year in completion offers an opportunity for creation. And so, we want to look at the year. I have some questions. So if you are watching, please go grab a piece of paper, a tablet, something where you can kind of take some notes for yourself if you'd like to. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. You can circle back around and do it. But I will be offering some probing questions for you to think about your year so that we can kind of just do a little review and reflection and put a nice little bow on 2023 so that we can be excited about 2024.
Wonderful. Well, welcome Peggy from Colorado and Sandy from South Jordan, Utah, and somebody else here, Cheryl from New Jersey. All of those places sound cold to me.
I would love to be in the cold. I mean, we are getting a little chillier here, which is nice. I mean, we actually can wear jackets and boots and it have a wintry feel, but nothing like those cold areas where I'm sure they have some snow on the ground.
Well, we're glad you're with us today.
Yes. So we get so busy with the year end. We have work deadlines that are people trying to, hit for the end of the year. We have holiday parties. We have family commitments, and we just get so busy and somewhat stressed out because there's a lot of pressure to, finish out the year and do all these things that we need to get done. And I want to encourage you just to take pause, take a deep breath, and be present to this beautiful time of the year. I mean, the holidays it does create a lot of stress. We did talk about stress management, just recently, but it is also a beautiful time to just really be present with your family and your friends and a time of reflection. And sometimes with times of reflection, it does cause a little angst for some people. But I will encourage you as we're going through the show here, if you have those feelings, to lean into those feelings, and we'll kind of peel, the onion layers back with those feelings and see how those can actually propel you into a positive 2024. So I kind of broken it up into 3 areas. And the first area is to reflect. And within each area, I have 3 kind of thoughts for you to be thinking about. So in reflection, number 1 would be highlight. What is your highlight for 2023? What is something that you look back on and you were so excited that you accomplished or you finished, or maybe you had an addition to the family, a grandbaby or a child, or, something, a job promotion. A highlight could be anything, it could be from work, but it can be personal as well. So what was a highlight? Number 2 is, what do you want to celebrate from 2023? What do you want to acknowledge within yourself or maybe somebody else within your family or your workplace, to celebrate something amazing that happened within that highlight. And sometimes within that celebration, it's important to give acknowledgement to those that supported you and helped you, and acknowledging those that are around you, because we all are part of a village. We're all part of a tribe, and acknowledging that tribe for helping you get to where you are is huge. And then number 3 within the reflection category is, what did you learn? Everyone learned either a skill, you learned something about yourself. What did you learn in 2023 that you definitely want to hang on to? So of those 3, Lady B, I would love for you to share one.
Oh my. I celebrate. I will do number 2. I celebrate all year long. Every morning I wake up. Every day above ground is a good day. And so I have learned to celebrate in the small things, and they help to keep me encouraged as I have other more challenging things to accomplish and to look forward to. So a celebration just of life. Every breath I take is a gift, and I
Mhm.
recognize that.
Awesome. I love it. It's important to do these things. Actually, I try to encourage a lot of my clients and people that I work with to do this exercise quarterly. Don't wait till the end of the year. Stay abreast to what's happening in your life. Be more present to it, and don't wait till the end of the year to do your reflections. Do them, at least quarterly if you're doing them for work and for things like that. But I think what you just said is so beautiful, to celebrate every day. And that comes down to, for me, like, I have gratitude every night and every morning. I start the day and I end the day with it, because not only does it help me sleep better, but it just puts me in a better frame of mind for everything that is happening, because there are a lot of hard things that happen in life, and it's important to be, grateful for health, and that you are above ground, like you said. I love that phrase.
It beats the alternative.
Right. It definitely does. So area number 2 is to evaluate. Now, and I have 3 things for you to think about when you're evaluating your 2023. What worked for you? What do you want to keep doing? And that could be something along the physical, fitness realm, of something that you started doing and it's worked for you and it's helped energize you. It could be something within relationships. It could be something at work. It could be something as simple as, what I worked on was, I stopped complaining about certain things in my life. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to make those complaints anymore. If it starts to come up, I'm just going to redirect and find something focused, positive to focus on. And so what worked for me was to stop complaining, because it did put a much more positive spin on my day to day rather than the doldrums. And so what worked for you that you want to carry into 2024? And so, and then obviously, what's the opposing? What didn't work for you? What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to stop doing? Um, for me, it's running late. I want to stop. I want to manage my time a little bit better, because I'm always trying to eke something out, and I'm just usually hustling to get to the next thing. And so it it hasn't served me well. I mean, I'm a survivor and that I get it done, but I much rather manage my time a little bit better, and not be rushing to the next thing. So that's my 2023 that I'm leaving behind and putting into play for 2024. And so along those lines, what worked for you and what didn't work for you leads us into the third one. And it's, what do you want to try and practice? What do you want to do differently? And so this evaluation category is really wonderful, because it does give you the opportunity to really think about what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and what didn't work for me. What am I going to implement? What am I going to try and practice? Um, and so for me, with what didn't work, what I'm going to try and practice is, I'm actually going to use a hard calendar. I have a floating calendar, and the floating calendar, it gets challenging sometimes, because you can't have hard starts and hard stops when you have a floating calendar. And so for me, it's using an actual definite hard start and hard stop calendar. How about for you, Lady B? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? And what are you going to use in 2024?
Oh my gosh, there's not enough time. I think that, and I do this exercise a lot, but if I were to say something, I'm going to go with what I want to try new. And I'm such a homebody. One of the things I want to do is to get out more. I mean, if you say theater, I'm there, but I need to get out more and do more, be more social, I think. And I enjoy being home, so it doesn't bother me. But it's nice to network and to meet new people and that kind of thing, and to kind of increase your circle a little bit, because it's not always about me and what it'll do for me. It'll be about what can I do to help others. And that
Mhm.
is the reason that I want to do it.
I love that. That's awesome. Because I see you as a servant leader. And, and so I do see you being out and in the public, and not only for yourself, but for others. And so,
Thank you.
and that's how I've always viewed you. So
Thank
for
you.
you to say that you're a homebody, I'm like, wait, what?
I know, and it's really, there's this real dichotomy in there, because I don't like crowds. And when I perform and do other things, people think, "Oh, you're on stage or you're doing this." Well, that's there, but then I leave, I go home, and I want to change that a little bit for the reasons that I shared with you a moment ago.
I love that. I love that. Yes. And so if you are tuning in and you are taking notes and something strikes you that you'd love to share, please, this is, an open book, share away. I'd love to hear shares. So the third category is tune in. And what does that mean?
What does that mean?
The first part of tune in is your feeling. Like, what are you feeling about 2023? Are you feeling high? Are you feeling medium? Are you feeling low? What are you feeling? And it's really important to just tune into that feeling and lean into it. And it's okay if you're feeling low, because it's a launch pad. That's really what it is. And if you're feeling high, that's awesome. Take what gives you that high feeling, and you're going to use it and carry it into 2024 for an even higher feeling. And if you're medium, gives you the opportunity to think about, evaluate and reflect about what can take you to a higher. So if you're feeling low, lean into it, and let's figure out why it was a low year for you. And then that way, just like I said, it's a launching pad for 2024. So number two for under tune in is unsustainable. That's the word. And what it is what what was unsustainable for you in 2023? What was bringing, we want to have balance and work life balance. And it's funny because when people say work life balance, I also kind of like, I don't even know how you have that balance. For me, it's more of like a flow of back and forth. And it's not really necessarily a balance, because I think of balancing like a teeter totter or a scale, and work and life aren't necessarily equal, but they do flow into one another. And I would rather have a work life flow that works for me, that is sustainable, that brings joy into my life, and it's not out of balance. So it's or out of flow, because one side can flow harder than the other, but sometimes that happens, and then you just bring it back to a better flow for you. So what was unsustainable for you in 2023 that you would like to let go of, and not have in your life? Because you have to acknowledge what was unsustainable to figure out what is sustainable for you. So tune in to part of what didn't work for you. What's something that you cannot maintain? Because sustainability is huge. We talk about sustainability for, our world, but we also have sustainability within our own beings that we need to be tuned into. So with that, number three is what are you going to let go of? So acknowledging what is unsustainable, and then the next step is letting go of the negative impacts that did hold you back. What are you going to say goodbye to and release 2023? And thing that I've done with my children, and we haven't done it in a couple of years, and I told them we're doing it again this year, is because we would always make like a little bonfire. And the reason we got away from it was because we had some nights here where it was like no burn nights, so you couldn't have like a little fire pit in the backyard. But we would write little notes about 2023 about what we didn't want to take into, or what happened that year that we didn't want to take into the next year. And even as little children, I had them writing little notes on paper, and they would toss it in our little fire pit, on New Year's Eve. And it's good to just have a physical thing where once you acknowledge what you want to let go of, I strongly encourage you to have a little ceremony. And it could be a super simple ceremony. It doesn't have to be grandiose, but write it down so that you are not only thinking it, but you're physically writing it. And then you're looking at it again. And then burn it, throw it in the trash, tear it up, do whatever you want with it. But get rid of it and allow yourself the opportunity to acknowledge that, lean into that, and then release it and just let it go so you don't carry it into the next year. The whole point of having closing out the year strong is to have those acknowledgments, but also to think about what you want the next year to look like for you, and creating a new launch pad for 2024. So what was there anything in your life in 2023 that was unsustainable for you, Lady B?
Well, there's a lot of things. When I looked at this whole list that you talk about here for tuning in, you mentioned first of all, tune into your feelings. I do have to say for me, and what I know to be true for everyone, is feelings are fickle. And while it's important to recognize them and not minimize your feelings, I think it's important for me to understand that's to understand why I felt like that, what brought that feeling about. So that, I mean, even if it's the highs or the lows, I mean, because none of that is always sustainable. We're going to be up and down at different points. And how can I figure out how to be more on an even keel, enjoying what I can and not tanking when, enjoying the triumphs but when the trials come, not getting too far out of kilter. Like I said, feelings for me, I think are fickle, and I don't want that to be what propels me one way or another. And the things that to let go of, I think are for me the anything and anyone who carries just a negative vibe.
Mm.
And when I say that, I mean, because we all have parts that aren't always, on the plus side of things, but just always, it's just no matter what, they don't know how to celebrate themselves or others. It's too exhausting. That for me, is too exhausting. And so that's what I don't intend to sustain. But let me ask you a question. As we look at the evaluate and this tune in, some of it seems alike to me because you said what didn't work, and then you said what's unsustainable. What's the difference in those two?
There's not a lot of difference other than when you're evaluating, what worked and what didn't work leads you into what you're going to try and practice. And
Okay,
then the unsustainable part, the tune in part has more to do with the feelings and the emotions that people put towards what worked and what didn't work. And like you said, it's not sustainable to be around people that are glass half empty. You want to be around people that are glass half full. And so the unsustainable part is the emotional side that people put towards what is, their feelings of what's working and what not working.
got it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Yeah. Cause a lot of people have a tendency to stuff feelings down, and it's put the best foot forward, put the best face forward, and don't necessarily address the feelings until it's almost too late. And they're in an unsustainable situation where it's like, I can't keep doing this. And so that's where that comes into play.
Thank you.
Yeah. Too many people get to where they're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, oh, and I mean, I've been there. So I'm not saying I've never been there, but it's important to recognize those feelings for sure.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. So now how do we, put a bow on this? I said, you could write down, what I did with my kids and what are you going to let go of and release for 2023. Some people, it's nice to just write like a farewell letter to the year, and it could be, and try to have it all encompassing, meaning relationships, family, work, everything, and talk about, what was great, what were your challenges, what you want to celebrate. And it's fun to just write a note for the year, I feel like. And if you're a journaler, like I've talked about on this show many, many times, I'm sure you'll have a journal entry towards the end of the year. It kind of happens for me. It starts now, and I have multiple days of where I'm journaling about the year, and then I just at the very very end of the year, like days before, I do write a letter. I do write a note about the entire year because I've had all these thoughts just ruminating in my head for days that I've been writing in my journal, and it's just nice to have that acknowledgement for 2023, and that's how you can close it out strong. Is just make sure that you're acknowledging everything that happened to you this year. And the beauty of that is when you have a farewell letter for your 2023, then you can create a new letter that your launching pad for 2024. And that's where you can put your hopes and your dreams for 2024. And everyone always has like these New Year's intentions and New Year's resolutions is usually the term that people use. And resolutions, I mean, I try to use the word intentions because I like to be intentional with the things that I'm doing and intentional with my words. So I have New Year's intentions and New Year's goals. So after I've done my commemorative closeout letter, then start working on your intentional and your goals for your intentions and your goals for 2024. And to me, there is a difference between intentions and goals. So goals focus on the how and what of doing things, where intentions focus on the why and the motivation behind them. So it's kind of like, it can get, like you were asking me earlier about what's the difference between what didn't work and what's unsustainable. This is similar in the sense of like goals is the framework and your intentions are your motivation and your why behind them. So does that make sense?
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely,
I was like,
completely. Yep. Mhm.
it's because it's important to put the action steps behind your intentions, and that's your goals, and so and think big. You can have little things like I want to, if someone is thinking about their physical well-being, and they want to lose 30 pounds, that can be your goal and you can put a framework around that. But your intention is going to be, I value good health and my longevity and I'm motivated for my well-being. That will be your intention behind I want to lose 30 pounds. And so it can start to feel a little overwhelming, but just start sketching out what you want, what you're looking for in 2024. Your letter can be I hope for, and then just start writing things down. My ambition for 2024 will be, especially if you're still in a career and you're still working, what do you want your work year to look like? What are your goals? Are you gunning for a promotion or a big project that you're wanting to attain? So there's a lot of things to be thinking about. And with that, also put about how you want to feel in 2024. Don't deny those feelings. I see we have a question here.
Could you provide an example of an idea of what you didn't want to do anymore that was that personal or work life? I missed out on some of that discussion.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So for me personally, and maybe you can share yours, but for me personally, like what I said was I want to stop having a floating calendar. I when I book appointments, I don't have a hard start and a hard stop and things flow and sometimes that is necessary, but a lot of times it creates problems for me in that I'm then rushing to the next one. And so when I land into the next appointment, I have all this hype because I've been rushing and I just don't want for me it didn't work to rush. I need to, slow down to be faster and more efficient. and not try to, I need to focus on quality and not quantity. So for me, that was what didn't work and what I'm using for, what I'm focusing on for 2024.
And Sharon, thanks so much for that question. And you're asking, was that for personal or work life? It can actually be for both. It
Yes.
can actually be for both. And, and sometimes it can be a small things and a small thing, and other times something that is really, that you feel is huge. It could be something as small as making sure you get to work 15 minutes earlier. That may be, because you're late a lot, or you're just walking in at 8 o'clock and signing onto the computer. So you're frazzled and you don't want to do that anymore. You want to be calmer in your life so your blood pressure doesn't go up. There's a lot of reasons and a lot of things that you can take a look at that will make sense to you, that are going to help you with your life, to balance your life, to help keep you calmer, I think, and more focused on what your purpose is in your life versus just running to and fro. And then at the end of the day, we're frazzled and tired because it just didn't work the way that we wanted it to. So creating those little spaces for things, getting rid of whatever it is that doesn't work. Maybe it's leaving, dishes in the sink at night, because it brings you angst, because you remember that your mother always told you you should always have a clean kitchen. Whatever it is, consider that. And sometimes it'll be personal, other times it'll be work related.
Yep. Yeah, and I encourage you, as you're going through this exercise of reflection and projection for next year, reflection and creation, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that's close to you. And not only will you have the edification and the validation of what's happened for 2023, but then you can have some accountability for 2024. Because once you share it, it's a little more cemented, and so I encourage you to pull your tribe in to do this exercise with you. And it's fun to celebrate with one another the wins and the highlights from the year. There's a lot of joy in that. And there can be a lot of, love and grace around what didn't work, because I think we're so hard on ourselves, and we don't show each other and in ourselves also enough grace for what didn't work. It's okay if something didn't work. That's People are always, there's no negativity in that. All it is an acknowledgement, and provides space to move into something that does work. So just because you're acknowledging something that didn't work or was unsustainable, there's no negativity around that. It's an acknowledgement is all it is, and providing the opportunity for something to be better.
Right. Understand. I think that there's an opportunity to take a look at why it didn't work.
Yeah.
Understand that. Understand why it didn't work. Was it something that your heart really wasn't in? Did you not have the resources? Did you not have the time? Was the goal too lofty? Did you change your mind? Did other things happen? And understanding that many times helps you as you get ready to prepare and set new goals.
Yeah.
I will say that I think it's important to share, like you said, with somebody that's close to you, but be careful who you share your dreams with. Be careful. My Nana used to tell us, don't share your dreams with people who can't help you attain them. Everybody's not happy for you. Remember that too. And you don't want people to use things against you later on. So be careful about who you have in your circle. Be careful about who you draw in. But those people that you hold dear and close to you, I say absolutely. Go ahead and share that. There's some comfort that you can have in there. And also to know that you're not alone, and neither are they. You'll be surprised how many people are feeling like you're feeling and wanting some of the same things that you are too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was a good year. There's a lot to celebrate, a lot of great things to be thankful for, and a lot of people to acknowledge, I'm sure, in your own lives. Like, acknowledge those that were supportive of you, because everyone needs support. So,
Absolutely. And we learn a lot from the trials that come in our lives. Everything doesn't have to be the up. We learn a lot from the trials and the tribulations. And the good news is we are still here. We're still standing. We're still strong. And we're looking forward to what's going to come in 2024. Coach, want to say thank you so much for being with us today and sharing all of these tips about how we can reflect, how we can evaluate, and how we need to tune in for the end of the year. We'll be back with you in 2024. January 9th, I think, is our first time here, and we'll have new topics, on Back to Basics. Please share this information with your friends, with your loved ones, with your colleagues, so that they too can enjoy. Take a look at what AARP has to offer. There's a lot of resources out there and a lot of ways that you can connect with others too. Have a wonderful holiday season. We look forward to being with you in 2024. Take care and God bless.
Thank you.